Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And this movie came out in 2009, and it's directed by Michael Bay, has all of the same cast reprising their roles, basically. And I remember watching this in theaters and thinking it was really fun and really awesome, and I liked all of these movies when I was a kid. And rewatching them, the first movie I can come back to. It's a bit nostalgic for me, and it wasn't terrible. This one I thought was really bad. Had some things from the first movie that were kind of still here. Like, there are a couple parts of it that I found to be entertaining, like the action. Like, that's the most memorable stuff in the movie is the action scenes. The bad comedy is in this movie as well. There's a couple of moments where I did laugh, but those like one or two times. I don't even remember. And the visual effects are mostly great, although there are some points where they did like kind of weird looking. I don't even know the best way to describe it. But there are moments where you can tell that these CG Transformers aren't exactly a part of the environment. There's a ton of annoying characters in this movie. Like, pretty much all of the side characters in this film are annoying to some degree or another. Like, human characters especially. Like, the Transformers I can live with. They don't really have much dialogue, but in this movie there's so much screen time given to the human characters, where I would just rather have a film that focused on the Transformers as the main characters, not the side characters. And this movie was a disaster behind the scenes because it was made during the writer's strike, and they had to do all these different things, and Michael Bay shot action scenes before the script was completed, which isn't exactly a great idea, and they just really had to make this movie very fast. So there is kind of somewhat of an excuse as to why this movie is as bad as it is, but sadly, that doesn't really improve my overall enjoyment of the film. And this movie is only a few minutes longer than the first movie, but this movie just feels way too long. Like, in the first movie, as long as it was, it didn't feel its length for the most part to me. Whereas this movie, it feels its runtime. And it just feels like a lot of nothing happening and just waiting to get to the action scenes because none of the characters are particularly likable or interesting. And also nothing story-wise that makes any sense, and that's mostly because the scenes feel interchangeable. Like, you could take the order of every scene in this movie, change it up in any which order you wanted, and the movie would be no different. And I didn't really notice this in the first movie, but this movie I definitely noticed this, and that's the music for the movie. And when I say music, I mean the actual score for the film was way overused, where it was starting to get annoying. And it just really irritated me. There was some licensed music in this movie that I did like, but the film, as far as I know, isn't really responsible for making that music. Or at least not to my knowledge, so I can't even give the movie credit for that. And the only really entertaining parts of this movie outside of the action scenes were just some moments where I was laughing at the movie. Like the classroom scene, like towards almost at the end of the first act of the movie. That scene was absolutely hysterical to me. I will rewatch that scene from this movie for sure, because up until that point, it was just, okay, this is passable, not like incredibly terrible. It wasn't getting too stupid yet, but once we got to that scene, it was like, wow, this is ridiculous. And it made up, I don't know, a decent amount of the movie for me because of how entertaining it was. But sadly, that only happens like twice in the movie, so it's not in the movie very much. And that's about all I have to say about Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. There's more to say if I were to spoil this movie, but honestly, don't watch this movie. Even though you can spoil the movie because it's terrible, I just like to keep my videos spoiler-free for the most part. Unless I make an entire video dedicated to spoiling the whole movie, I can do that, but I don't really want to do that for this movie because it would have to be like an actual passion project of mine to like spoil the whole movie and talk about the film in detail. But in order to do that, I would have to rewatch the movie to really let you know every little detail that just makes no sense in this movie and just pick apart the plot as much as I can. And I know this is a review, but I really do not want to watch this movie again just to get to every single detail of this movie and just why it's just not working very well. So, for now, this is all I'm going to have to say about Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. It's terrible, has a couple of things in it that are still good, that are carried over from the first movie, but it's not really in service of anything good, sadly. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give Transformers Revenge of the Fallen a 2 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and you probably guessed it. It's Transformers Dark of the Moon. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.